Hello, everyone. Welcome back from our break. I hope you enjoyed the refreshments, made some new friends, and had a chance to check out some of our awesome exhibitors today. All right, so now that we just saw some awesome examples of some digital health solutions in action, we're now going to think more about some overcoming various digital health implementation and deployment challenges. So I'm thrilled to welcome on stage Bahador Marzban, Principal Data Scientist from J&J Innovative Medicine, and he's going to talk about how to operationalize digital biomarkers using multimodal data.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you. I think we are already 2 minutes past 11, so it makes my job easier to can just deliver faster. So my name is Bahador Marzban. I'm part of digital health and data science team in Johnson & Johnson. We work on transforming physiological data from raw data, from mobile apps and from biosensors to clinical insights and to actionable insights. And today I'm going to take you to the journey from a collection to all the way to insights and how we do it in J&J. And more than that, I'm going to also share with you a vision for the future. Before I move on, this is clarification that most of the things that I'll be talking today is my own view and they not represent J&J's view. And let's get into it. So why we do what we do? This paper is an example of what we need to do digital health. So the boldest statement I want to make is that digital health will not show its real value if we do not do it at a scale. What do we mean by that? So this paper has been done on UK biobank population, and they have the data for more than 100,000 subjects for 1 week of data, and they studied the rhythm of rest activity amplitude. So it turned out that this rest activity amplitude, this one single signal can really basically show a lot of association with health outcomes. We're talking about cancer, digestive issues, the neuroscience, the neuropsychiatry issues, and all these digital outcomes. So the authors of this paper represented something else that I found really interesting to share here. They found out the effect of poor sleep could be mitigated by the effect by the high amplitude of rest activity. So in other words, if you have a poor sleep, you can be more active. Therefore, you can be as much as healthy as a healthy person. So this is not to really say get more than less than 7-8 hours of sleep. We know UK biobank the population is not a diverse population. There is no more interventional studies needs to be done here. But this is to say that we need larger studies and we need to incorporate large volume of data in using digital health to find out the real value phenomenon that is happening. And we all know digital health represents a shift in how we measure the digital health data. So traditionally, we used lab reports, we used subjective measures, right? And digital health will give us objective, continuous, quantifiable ways to collect digital health data. And we can deploy it across different functions. We can deploy it across cardiac functions, nervous system disorders, gastrointestinal, all the way to psychiatric disorders. So these variables and biosensors will work as proxies, physiological proxies for us to communicate with the body and to listen to the body. And to use this information for patient stratification, safety analytics, and efficacy analytics. So we all know thanks to recent advances in digital health space, we have multiple different sensors to deploy. We have altimeter, wearable patches, we have speech monitors to monitor the cognitive decline. We have sweat patches to monitor the metabolism. And on the right side here, you can see a human body. Imagine if we have attached biosensors to different part of human body and continue listening and keep listening. So I have this vision that human body talks. It just doesn't talk like us using text and languages. It just talks using these signals that we can listen to using these variables. So like ChatGPTs of the world, I'm here using an analogy. ChatGPT is trained on large volume of body and text, right? And a large volume of language. But what if we can train a foundation model using a physiological data and that are collected continuously on large amount of subjects? But here's the catch. As was mentioned earlier today, the challenge in this physiological data is that they are not annotated. So we need a way to annotate and label this data. So that means simply collecting data is not enough. We need studies, we need large volume of studies. We need to continuously listen to these signals, and from there we will be able to build up these foundation models based on physiology, not based on language, based on physiology signals, based on raw numbers of data. And that can help us to identify a patient's baseline, that can help us to identify the health events and maybe predict the health events using those foundation models. So to me, this is just digital health with these future foundation models. We are just touching the tip of the iceberg, and there are many things, many applications that we need to find out in the future. We all know the benefits of digital health. It reduces the cost. It's basically increase the time to action. Basically, it accelerates that. It's good for precision medicine, as we just discussed. For doing all that, we need a roadmap. So we need to follow the V3 framework. We need to define the digital biomarker. We need to validate it. We need to both clinically and analytically. And we need to integrate it into workflow, which we were discussed earlier today. And for that, we need to also consider the security and privacy of the patients. That's another thing that we're really dealing with these days when we are trying to move the data from one place to another place. And that's an iterative process, so we need to do it every day and do it better and better. So this slide shows how I think we all had that basically experience that we had a 3-month longitudinal study, and we collected data, digital health data, and at the end of the 3 months, we said, okay, let's transfer the data from vendor to the company. And after transferring, we found out, okay, we lost half of the data because patients simply don't wear the device, or patients were not compliant, the device was not functioning, or many things could go wrong when you operationalize. I think Jeremy had touched on that, digital health technology. So the benefit of real-time monitoring is that we need to have visibility in place that the patients are actually using the device. So that's one of the things that I think we need to pay more attention when we are deploying the digital health technology, and using infrastructure in place that we had in J&J. We can basically monitor near real time how our patients are compliant. So this is the slide that I like. This is a slide that kind of shows the bread and butter of our team. We have experience of working with many different vendors across the industry. We we are sensor agnostic, using mobile apps, patches, vital patch, and anything. And we use the participants, we collect the data using our partnering with the cloud vendors, and the participants wear the patch or app. Maybe they use a mobile app or wear the patch or the wristwatch, and we configure an API. We do an API pull or push from the vendor's cloud using our Connect module. And we do data completeness and compliance on the fly. We have dashboards. Everything is in place for visibility for our clinical team. And we do the heavy lifting in our transform module where we, as I mentioned, annotate the data. We have the different algorithms in place to annotate the data. And we deliver the AI-ready data assets. And the whole thing happens in our premises after we pull the data from the vendor's cloud. This is, if we zoom in, this was just talking about multiple modalities. If we zoom in just for one single modality, for ECG, for example, if we want to go from raw data all the way to metrics and compute some benchmark, and benchmark it and compute some metrics, we need to have in place the pre-aligners for data, because most of the devices that we are using, they use different settings. And we need to pre-align using time units, using timestamps, using units. And so we need to align for all that. And then after that, we can use the state-of-the-art algorithms to process the raw ECG data using signal processing algorithms. Sense ECG is a package that we build up internally. There are many different packages. After processing that, we get the so-called R peaks, right? And then we get the heart rate and heart rate variability, and et cetera. And after getting that, we can, if we have annotated data, good, we can do ground truth analysis and compute some metric accuracy and so on and so forth. And another thing that is important for us, because we are dealing with large volume of data, this is the example of output. I will skip this for one subject for 2 weeks. When we pass through the raw ECG, I will skip this slide for the sake of time. But one of the things, I promise I won't go all over the numbers here, but one of the things that I think I want to mention is that it's important for us. We need to have a speed up. We need to make sure that we can process this large amount of data. So in study 2, we had to kind of eradicate this study names, but the study 2, as you can see, we have 2.9 billion data points that we were able to process in just 2 hours. This is a good speed. We can always throw more resources, but this is the metrics that we can trust that, okay, we can now process large volume of the data coming from raw studies. This is how we can do it. Basically, the concept is very simple. We just parallelize the data process, and we avoid the bottleneck of processing everything in a serial fashion. We can use cloud infrastructure to parallelize everything. For the sake of time, I will skip here. And as far as the future steps, I would say we will do more GPU analysis. Basically, that gives us more speeding up. GPU will be used for model training, but not for feature extraction. That's one of the things that we're going to use in the future more. And we will publish our findings in research publications. We have several papers that are coming out using the data that we're collecting. And here I think one of the most important things that was discussed earlier today, that we need collaboration. We need also collaboration in standardize the way we collect this data. So I think I would say the majority of our engineers' time would go towards the data wrangling and also just harmonizing this data. Device 1 collects timestamps in Unix format. Device 2 collects timestamps in another format. So all this harmonization takes a lot of effort. And I would call for a joint effort across pharma and the vendors. I think they are all here to address this issue. This is really important if you want to move forward and if you want to use this data and really leverage this data. And yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Bahador. Unfortunately, I do not believe we have time for questions, but hopefully you can catch him during our lunch break in just a little bit.
Yeah, come find me. Thank you.
Yes. Awesome. I'll take this. All right.